Girl, stop playing.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Koereyelle, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. Because I believe you can make the money and you can get the honey. You don't have to pick. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And so I have a special guest joining us in the studio for this very special episode. Y'all are getting to know this wife, mom, and boss. She's affectionately known as, and officially known as, because she on the trademark, y'all. Don't try to even use it, as the coach's coach. She helps coaches work less and earn more. And y'all know that we are all about that here on the podcast. So please welcome Coach Kelly.
Hey, you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited to have you. I have been looking forward to this conversation because we're all about not only talking about the success, which you have a whole lot of that we're going to talk about, but we also like to talk about, the personal side of things as well that people often don't get to tap into when we just see, the business typically on social media. So you ready to get into it?
I am.
Okay, so we are going to start with the money and then we'll get into the honey. Okay. So you are a coach, obviously, but talk a little bit about the specific coaching that you do.
Well, I am actually the coach's coach. So I am basically the life coach for coaches, but I'm also a coach that teaches coaches how to scale their business. The industry will tell you to get as many clients as you want, get booked, blessed, and busy. And I'm like, no. That's don't want that. That is not the goal. No, you want time freedom.
This is true.
And the way to do that is to put those folks in groups because they all have the same types of problems. Once you're working in your niche market, put those folks in groups and then you be at the beach or wherever you want to be for the rest of that time.
You be at the beach, Coach Kelly.
I be at the beach.
You be at the beach and I love
and the bank.
We pausing, moment of silence right there. She be at the beach and the bank. And that's the goal because I often talk about how people are running away from their jobs, right?
Yes.
We don't want to work so hard for somebody else, but then we start a business and we're working so hard for ourselves and nobody starts a business to be a slave. Like that's literally what you're usually trying to get away from.
No.
So I love that you aren't just pushing get as many clients as you possibly can, but how can we work smarter and not harder? I love that. Something else that you talk a lot about that I was not familiar with, and I still don't really know what it means. You're going to have to define it for me. But what is NLP?
NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It's basically the study of the mind and how you think, and how you think makes you do what you do. And when you do what you do, that's the reactions that you get out in the world. And then that becomes basically your life.
So you are certified,
I am.
Right? How is this what makes you like the life coach for coaches? Like, is that what you tap into or what you pull from when you're working with your clients?
Ooh, you were trying to get spicy
Let's
early
get
on.
Spicy.
We just got here, y'all, and she's trying to get spicy already. I didn't even know she was going to ask me this, but it's all good. It's all good. It is one of the things that really helps me tap in deep. It is a very deep science. I mean, I have a degree in psychology. That's actually my first degree. Okay. But NLP is a very deep science that when you can really tap into what makes someone think the way they think, and more importantly, how did they establish that thought process, which happens when you were a child, then you can undo, like, for instance, a scarcity mindset. If you have a scarcity mindset as a whole adult, there's something that happened in your childhood that had you take that on. For instance, if you were in a household where they said, when you went in the grocery store, if they said, don't look at nothing,
don't
touch nothing, don't ask for nothing.
Because you ain't getting nothing.
Because you ain't getting nothing. That had you believe that there's not enough.
Facts.
So as an adult, you carry that on, and next thing you know, you can't even go out on a date without trying to, what is she going to order? And you don't know where that came from, nickel and diming. Or when you start charging for coaching, you want to charge, $20. You're not about to change nobody's life for $20 because the person that's signing up for $20 doesn't really want to change their life.
This is true.
But we're not going to talk about that yet.
We might get into it because never mind, I almost said so. Yeah, we'll wait.
Yes, we'll wait.
We'll wait.
So it's really looking at why are people conditioned how they are and how can we undo that. and it gets in deep into breaking generational curses.
So this reminds me, and this is not on my notes, y'all, but this reminds me of a conversation I had with one of my mentors, and she literally said she did not make her first $1 million until she forgave her father, until she got over her daddy issues. And that was such like a mind-blowing statement for me, because we don't think that deep. You know, we think that I'm not making the money because I haven't figured out the strategy yet. We never think about like the psychological part of how all of that is making us stagnant, or how that could be keeping us stuck, and why we keep hitting that same wall. You know, we can climb, work, but for some reason we just can't have that breakthrough. And so that makes total sense what you just said.
Yes, because it's way deeper than the surface level. It's way deeper than something that you're going to find on YouTube. And I'm gonna say it, since can I say that?
You listen, you can say whatever you want to say.
That whole NLP talk is a stigma in the African American community, because they think that you're over there working roots or something like that. And it's really not, once you understand the science. When I show me going to my seminars and whatnot, I always get flack in my DMs. Why are you doing that? Well, first of all, this is my page, which makes it my mic. So
you can stage, baby.
In my stage, you can unlike, unfollow, untap into, uncreep, you know, all of those things. But it is, I mean, I have changed many lives with the practice of it.
I saw you breaking boards.
I
saw you at your seminars, and that's all mindset, right? Because
it's all mindset.
Physically, you got to first.
It's all mindset. You
have
to believe that you can do it. When I facilitate those board breaking ceremonies, I tell the ladies, see your hand already through the board.
How hard is it, Coach Kelly? Because I ain't gonna lie, when I saw you doing it, I was like, I think I'm a bad mamma jamma, but breaking the board.
You could do it if you believe that you can.
It take a couple days though. Y'all work up to that, right? To get
we
to the
do, because when they come to the retreat, I have a 4-day retreat once a quarter. Well, 2-day retreat, 4 for my highest clients, but a 2-day retreat once a quarter. And I give them the boards as the first exercise.
Okay.
And I have them write on the front of the board everything they want to accomplish, and then on the back of the board write down everything that's holding them back. And they have to carry that board without them throughout the weekend. So they're writing down all the things as they're surfacing. And by the end of the retreat, our last exercise is, okay, it's time to break the board and break through these things and let them go.
So you're certified yourself, but you're actually teaching this to other coaches?
Yes.
Okay. So do they get certified through you?
Not yet. Okay. I've considered offering a certification level.
Just not yet?
Not yet. Okay. I'm going to, but not yet. I have to do some more teaching in our culture to really get what it is, because I don't want it to have the stigma it has. But it's a really deep science. I'm thinking right now, should I give you an example?
Give the example. Don't hold back here. Girl, stop playing. We want all the goods.
This is Girl Stop Playing.
We want all the goods.
Okay, so I had a retreat 2 weeks ago. And of course, I'm not going to say the person's name. So this is with my
all the goods.
All the goods, because it's their private private business, and this is with my highest level clients, expansion clients. And there is a practice within NLP where you can really take someone subconsciously into their past.
Is it hypnotizing them? Are you hypnotizing?
No, not necessarily. Although I am a hypnotherapist.
You doing sessions?
But I don't.
Do you offer this, or only to your clients?
To my clients.
Okay.
To my clients.
Okay.
But it's kind of a light.
That's deep.
It's kind of a light form of it. But what happened with her was she had, and like I said, she's in my highest level program, so we could do this exercise. She had been invited to speak at a conference on leadership where she was replacing. They had the president of Dell cancel, and they called her at the last minute and asked her to do it, and she's like, I can't do it. I told them yes, but I'm trying to read all of these books to make sure that I knew it. And I'm like, but they ask you without the books. They already ask you, so what makes you think you need to read the book? So she was really, really spun up about this. And so I told her right then, I said, are you ready to go deep in this and release what's making you think you can't do it? And she says yes. And so I invited her up in front of everyone, and it's a safe space. I establish a safe space wherever I'm at, right? And I took her through an exercise where she closed her eyes. I didn't tell her to close her eyes. Once we started talking, she got comfortable enough to close her eyes. Mm-hmm. And so I asked her, is it okay for your unconscious, your subconscious? Your subconscious is the part of you that makes your heart beat, that makes your blood flow. Like, you're not even thinking about it. Like, here's an example. Have you ever driven home and you thought you were going to, and you just got there, but you were like, man, I was supposed to stop at the grocery store. Yep. Well, that's your subconscious. So that's running all the time. The thing is, your subconscious is a record of everything you've ever been through in your life. It doesn't forget, it stores it, even though you're not consciously thinking about it. So, and it goes back, not just right now, but in previous generations.
I was going to say, you're going to say past lives, huh? That's the thing.
It's the thing.
I'm into it, Coach Kelly, so
it's
you
about
don't got to make
spicy.
A believer out of me.
So she said, so I took her through the process, and she says, and y'all, I didn't plan to tell about this, but there's a reason. Some of y'all want to know. Yes. It's getting real spicy. Because I haven't talked about this publicly because it scares people, but it's a real thing.
I am into it. Let's get into it.
She said, this is your mic.
Yes, this is my mic, my stage. If you don't like it, don't log off, though, because just stay around.
Right.
You might need this.
So I asked her, basically, where did it come from? Or would you allow your unconscious mind to tell me, to say out loud, where did it come from? And she says, when I was in the 5th grade, the teacher called me up to the board and he asked me a question and I got it wrong, and the teacher basically lit into her.
Humiliated her.
He humiliated her, and she carried that with her for the rest of her life. Well, in NLP, when something affects you for the rest of your life is typically before you were 3 years old. So I had to go back deeper and say what happened before then. She closed her eyes and she began to say, and we were just like leaning in like, what's she going to say? What's she going to say? And she says, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And we didn't know what she was referencing, right? And so when she comes back, and I'm like, and I told her, whatever it is you're seeing, whatever it is you're feeling, just gather those learnings and know that basically you weren't there. It wasn't your fault. And we can agree to let it go right now. Tell me what you're feeling now. And she says, the feelings are gone. So as she comes back, conscious, even though she wasn't unconscious, she just was just
coming
closing her eyes. Coming back into, it's just like yoga, meditation and yoga. It's just like that. So she comes back and we're like, what did you see? What did you happen? What were you recalling? Y'all ready for this?
I ain't ready, but let's hear it.
What she said? She said, I saw slaves. She said, I saw slaves having a meeting. And we were like, what?
Did anybody get up and run out of the room?
No.
Wow.
They couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, look at my face.
Right. We couldn't, and this just happened 2 weeks ago.
This is your room, though. So what do you say next, Coach Kelly?
I just let her share what she saw. I never know what a person is going to experience in that moment. So she shared what she saw, and she said her breakthrough was that it was not her fault. And so now she realizes that she was operating her life off of something that was not her fault. And she says it happened on my father's side. How would she know that? How would she know?
That's really deep.
Yes.
Coach Kelly, I want one of these sessions. I want it in private, though, not up in front of the room, but I want to tap in. I think
there was only about 9 of us in the room, so it was okay.
In regards to what you said about people, having like this stigma around it, is witchcraft. I, am a very open-minded person, especially when it comes to this space and these types of conversations. And so I just feel like if we tapped into not even the witchcraft, but the things that are people, we've been doing this. Like, this comes from us, but we've gotten so far away from it that we think it's evil, or we think it's all of these things that have literally been a part of our people's way of doing things for so long.
And I don't really talk about it openly. I can't even believe, honestly, that I'm talking about it on the podcast right now. I don't know what you did.
Yes.
I don't, because it has such a stigma. But I have seen the way it has changed people's lives. And that's just one form of NLP. There's so many other different things, language patterns, all kinds
So
of
how
things.
do you, aside from you actually using these practices with your clients, how do you feel like it's helped you build your business or grow your business, just having this skill set and also the psychology degree?
It has helped me understand why I do what I do. Because it starts with the person first. It helps me understand why I do what I do, and are these my thoughts? Like when I have a negative thought, is it mine or is it something that my parents believed and I never changed it for myself?
We have so many of those.
So many
And usually
of
it just
those.
takes like therapy for you to figure that out.
Right.
And most of us don't even want to go to therapy. So then
It's
you
such
live your
that
whole
had a
life.
stigma for a long time.
It still does. Because for a lot of, and I am an advocate for therapy. I mention it probably on every show. And I'm still in therapy right now. And I'm proud of myself. I love that for me. Okay, I love that for
Right, and
me.
I love that for you.
Because it's
10 years
important.
ago, it would have been like, oh, yeah, I go to
That girl must be crazy. But guess what? We all got
we've evolved,
something.
and we've all got something.
Yes,
if you're
that we
not in
need to deal
therapy,
with.
you need to be in therapy.
Yes.
That's the problem. You
Yep.
don't think you need it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and you the main, look, be the
You the
main
main one.
Yes. So you mentioned that psychology was your first degree.
Yes.
You recently got a doctorate degree. This is Dr. Coach Kelly. We're going to put all the respects on your name. But we hear the noise around like college doesn't matter, degrees aren't worth anything anymore. And you obviously have built a very successful business. What made you want to get another degree?
That's a good question, because I got my psychology degree, then I got my degree in criminal justice, and that's what I've done most of my work in. I worked for the Department of Justice almost 20 years.
Okay.
Loved that job, traveled the world with that job. I mean, it was
Was that before your husband?
During.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes. We
so
met.
you became an entrepreneur.
Oh
during
yeah,
your
I
marriage.
became an entrepreneur 8 years ago.
Okay.
Y'all, I was the person, listen y'all, I was the person that is like, I went to college, I got this good job, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, they pay me all this money, and I got this good insurance. I'm not
benefits.
going nowhere. I was a company girl.
What changed it?
I got to the point, I worked my way up through the ranks, and I got to the point, and I'm like, who said this was the measure of success? Like, I started early on. I was an academic scholar. So I'm looking like, according to my watch, this says I've been here 15 years already, and I got 20 more to go. This is not adding up. The math ain't mathing. And so I couldn't be there that much because I was already at the top of my game. What am I going to do? Carry magazines. Where can I go next?
Yeah.
Carry magazines to work every day. So I'm like, I'm not fulfilled anymore. How many of y'all are working at a job because it has good money? And some of it's not even that good, but it has good benefits. And you are inside of your comfort zone, and you won't bet on yourself. I came to that place where I'm like,
if I can do this for them, imagine what I can do for myself.
yes. And my husband was already on me because he's been an entrepreneur for as long as we've known each other, which we're getting ready to have our 25th year in November.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And he would poke at me and he would say, "You just a robot." And I would get, girl.
He knew which button to press, huh?
It's funny now, but it was not. It was not near funny
cute back then.
It was not cute back then because I would get mad. I'd be like, I went to college to get this job. You didn't go to college. So, I was a little slick. I was a little slick with my tongue. And I was like, but now I see,
what he saw in you.
What he saw in me, he saw more than that. And if you go to a job every day and you get there when they say get there, you leave when they say leave, and they want to know if you're going to be out more than 3 days, you got to ask your kids to take your kids to the doctor. You are a robot.
Hard pill to swallow.
Y'all. Sorry.
Look, they know it. They know it because when they be requesting them days off and they get denied, that's like the most.
That was the pinnacle.
That feeling is just like you really think you own me. Watch me be sick. Baby,
I'm gonna be sick tomorrow.
I'm gonna be sick. Yes, because
that was the pinnacle for me. I applied to work from home. This was before the pandemic. It was 8 years ago. And at that point in my career, I had already done all the, the running and gunning investigations, wiretaps, all of those things. And I was like, I can apply to work from home. Y'all have the program. And they denied me. And I sat at my desk and I felt owned.
That's a real thing.
I felt owned. I said, this here is modern day slavery.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
And now here we are years later and everybody's working from home. I want to go down to the federal building.
Say you done missed your blessing. Look what you did. Fumbled your bag.
Right. But I'm going to be nice. You
don't have to. You don't even have to be humble, Coach Kelly, because they need to put some respect on your name. But I also want to get back into a little bit the mindset space, because if they are following you at Coach Kelly J, you're always sharing about the inner dialogue and the law of attraction and all of these principles that I definitely believe in, but I feel like not enough people talk about that. Like we only talk about business strategy, but you can't just have business strategy without like the spiritual laws and knowing how they work and all of those things. So you put something up. I want to say it exactly how it is. It says the inner dialogue is what's holding you back from the next level. So tell me what that means. Explain that to the people.
I love that. I didn't even know that you pulled a quote of mine. I put stuff like this all day. She got some stuff. Let me see what's in that thing. Let me see. It means the way you talk to yourself. If you second guess yourself, if you think you're not good enough, those are the chances you're going to take, or lack thereof, or not. And in business, in life, you have to become the person that can do the thing, that can go for the job if it's the job, go for the promotion, or that can leave the job. You know, a lot of people will ask me when I'm on podcasts and events and stuff, they'll say, you know, what's your most successful student? And I say the biggest success for my students is when they turn in their resignation papers. It's not an amount of money, because you can make the money but not have the courage.
Yep.
It's the courageous part.
When that clicks for them.
When that clicks for them and they say, I get to choose.
Yes. So you also recently posted about a client that I think is over 60.
She's
right?
66.
66. And for everybody out there who's been making excuses like, it's too late in life. I can't turn back now. I got this degree that I didn't earn. I'm still paying off these student loans. Like all of these excuses we tell ourselves for why we stay stuck. Share her story and just talk about the fact that it's never too late.
Yes, I love her story. Now I can say her name because she's going to be tickled pink. Her name is Dr. Pam.
Hey, Dr. Pam. We proud of you, Dr. Pam.
Hey, Dr. Pam. Yes. Dr. Pam, she is 66 years old. And she has a client who's 80.
Listen,
80.
I love it.
80. Now, the way I teach my clients, I teach them to have, like I teach group coaching, how to go from one-on-one to group. And one of the blueprints in there is teaching them how to have an online workshop and then bring people into their paid program and on up through the ecosystem. We won't even get into it not right now anyway. Well, she was struggling with the tech part, and she's just like, I'm like, you know what, Dr. Pam? Because she had already told me she lived in a what do you call it, a senior community. I said, y'all have a community center? And she's like, yes. I said, how about you do the same methodology? You just have your free workshop at the community center with the ladies in your neighborhood, and after you meet with them for 90 minutes, same structure, just tweak it a little bit. That's what a coach is.
Yep. Not trying to give you cookie cutter. Everybody
not trying to give you cookie cutter. So I said, you just have it in person and you let the people sign up afterwards. She said, oh, Kelly, I can do that. That's how she talked. And she did it, and she signed up her first 6 clients. And she was so happy.
Proud. She
and
should
one
be.
of the ladies is 80.
Wow.
And she just told me just yesterday, Coach Kelly, I think I'm going to take them to Paris. I said, Dr. Pam.
Dr. Pam?
Okay, Dr. Pam.
I love it.
We were on our call just clapping her up. You are changing lives.
No, you.
Oh, me.
She is too, but I mean, because for 66, right? A lot of people would have said, "Yeah, I'm about to retire from this job. Like, I don't have time to start something new, invest in doing something new." But for her to take the step and then attract someone that's 80, that's still like, I got life to live, baby. Help me do this thing. And I don't even know what type of coach she is, but for you to be 80 signing up for any type of coach, there's something to be said for that. The type of lives that she's going to change just because she ran the play.
Yeah, and let me add this on, because I think it's important to note. She is in my highest level program, expansion. It is a high ticket program. When she applied, because it is by application only, when she applied to that program, I denied her application.
Shut up. Why?
A couple of times. She kept I denied it. And I said, she's not a good fit, because what I was thinking was this was only for someone who had been in business for a while. And I named it expansion because they're expanding in their business.
What they have, yeah.
And they're expanding what they have, expanding their business, expanding their life. And she requested through my team, well, can I talk to her?
Because she ain't going to deny me again.
She said, what we're not going to do is this. So
she needs to talk to me.
She needs to talk to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get on the phone with her. And she got on the phone and she helped me. She gave me a breakthrough. She helped me to understand without exactly saying the words, but saying it in a 66-year-old way, you know, mom and them. She helped me to see that you can expand in more than a money way.
Facts. And that's not even everybody's goal.
That's not even everybody's goal. So between talking to her and talking to my mom, who's 75, that lives with us, I was telling my mom, because at the end of the day, she's like, who'd you talk to today? So I had to run my whole day down with my mom. And I told her, she's like, I think I need you to rethink that. That lady wants to get in there. You don't know what she wants. You don't know what this means to her, what she's about to do.
Yeah.
And she just recently lost her husband. She's like, you better support that lady.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. That was in March of this year. And now look, she has 7 clients now. And she's scheduling the trip to Paris. And when she told us on our group meeting yesterday, she had on a Paris shirt.
Come on.
I said, Dr. Pam.
Dr. Pam is already in Paris mentally. She's got to get there physically. I love it. But that, to me, you know, heavy is the head. We hear that all the time. And there's great responsibility that comes when you take on these tasks, especially being a coach. Like, I didn't quit coaching so many times, because it's such a great responsibility. And when you're really good at it, you pour into people. Like, you do so much. But for you to be willing to be flexible and for you to even just see that I can't control who God sends to me. Like,
that was the message.
And so many times, you know, you might not necessarily want to do it, but it's like, okay, God gonna keep nudging you. This lady gonna keep putting in this application. So there has to be something there. So I love that you were able to tap in. And obviously the results speak for themselves.
Yes.
Okay, so we gotta get into the honey, because we talked about the money. Look at her face. Y'all zoom it. Oh. When I told her off camera that we were going to talk about the money and the honey, she said, oh, I got the honey. I wish I could have caught it on camera, y'all. But that is what I love, because we hear, you know, we always talk about what our grandmamas had and what they went through. But when I think about my grandmama, they slept in separate rooms. They were still married, but they were not still in love. They weren't still friends. And so for you to perk up like that 25 years in, we got to know how you do it. We got to know how you do it.
Oh, my gosh. He's my everything.
The spice. How? Not even just the spice, but I feel like y'all are friends too. So would you say that that's the foundation? And what is, like, I know you got plenty of secrets, but what is just like one thing that you can share that keeps that look on your face when somebody mentions him?
It is being friends. And my heart does flutter when he walks in the room, like, real talk. If he walked in here right now, I'd be like,
oh, hey, that's my baby right there.
You know, so it is being friends. It is allowing the other spouse, the other person, to be their own person, to be individual, not thinking that we have to be together all the time. We don't have to be together all the time. He goes on trips.
I do. My man gonna be like, yep, she do. I do. But go ahead.
But you'll grow grow out of that.
Okay.
And for each to have their own hobbies. You have to be individual. Look, she said,
I want to show up. Where you going? Where we going? But okay,
it's we.
I'm gonna grow up. Yeah, I'm gonna grow up.
How long has it been? 2 years, 3 years?
We pushing 2 years. We're pushing 2 years, yes.
Yeah, it's seasons. Understanding at this phase right now, you have to know there are going to be seasons. Every season is not easy. And some of y'all might not like this. I love, and am in love with my husband, but it's more commitment. It's the commitment to the marriage, the commitment to the unity. You know, some days you want to wake up and be like, this is just enough.
What did I sign up for?
Like, it's forever for real. You know, him and me, honestly, because we're being honest, right?
We're being honest.
But we have stayed because in those seasons, because we're committed to what we said that we were going to do. You know, so it's understanding the seasons and dating.
Y'all
we
still
date
each
a
other.
lot.
Yes.
We date a lot. We travel a lot. We finish each other's sentences. When we go hang out with our friends, if there's any ever a board game or one of those fun taboo games, they don't let us get on the same teams.
Y'all ain't gonna be right together. Y'all ain't gonna be
they
right.
say if those two are on the same team, that's the winning team.
We don't stand a chance.
We don't.
You gotta at least
because
make it fair.
we like have the same brain at this point.
I love it. So both of you are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Do you all operate a business together, or do you just have your own separate businesses?
We have our own separate businesses. We think about businesses two different ways. But my husband is the CFO of my coaching business because I don't think in dollars. I think in impact.
And you think of impact, he's thinking income. And you need both.
Right.
I love that.
Right. He calls me the tree hugger.
I love that.
So he has to come in and
make sure the tree hugging is bringing in the dollars.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever gone through, and I kind of feel like I know the answer to this because you said your husband has been an entrepreneur, so I'm sure forever, basically. So I'm sure a lot of those growing pains he kind of learned probably before you even started your entrepreneurial journey. But have y'all ever had to like switch roles where, you know, my business ain't doing that hot right now, so I have to, you're gonna have to assume more responsibility than maybe you signed up for, or maybe you are used to. Have y'all ever had those kind of tough times where you really had to sit down and like have some tough conversations?
We've had those, but not based necessarily on what you said, like my business isn't doing well. It's more of your business is really like right now, I'm in a season where I am on somebody's stage every week or out of town or on a podcast, or it doesn't mean his business is slow. We just realize my business is busting at the seams right now. It's overflow. So that might mean he needs to, like he's home right now with the kids. He would love to be here sitting in the audience of this podcast. So we understand like that, and we don't even talk about it. It's just what it is. It's just what it is.
What's understood don't need to be said, huh? So Coach Kelly is, you know, she a little humble a little bit, but I saw, again, I was stalking your Instagram because I do be preparing for these shows, y'all. My computer be full of all the stuff, right? So she
won't let me see.
Secret notes over here, but it's juicy. It's juicy. So we are a part of a coaching program together. So I know that you've gotten the 100K in a day award.
Yes.
You recently got $1 Million Mogul Award. And when we first met years ago, we were on a panel together. One of the things that you said that stuck out to me then is that you and your husband, y'all do this like retreat once a year with other successful business-minded couples. And so I want to know the impact that has on your business as well as your marriage, because most of us, you know, we get married, but then we ain't got nothing but single friends. So it's not where we can both tap into this resource together. And the fact that you do that and you have this group, you know, that does it and grows together and can come back year after year and share with one another. How do you think that that's impacted you? And where can I find these friends?
You're so funny. This I didn't even remember telling you that.
It stayed with me.
She's like, it was stored.
It was, because especially for Black people, you know, like it's like you're the friend in the group that has it together, but you don't necessarily have the group of friends that has it together.
Right. So here's the thing, and I love this question. We met this group in a mastermind probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we actually get together 3 times a year.
Oh, see, I remember a piece of the story. Not the whole thing. That's me, though. I be knowing half a part of it.
We get together 3 times a year, and they're not Black.
See? I knew I was onto something. That's what I said. The Black people, we don't be... Why? Why? None of them are Black?
I know.
None of them Black?
Us.
Okay.
But what does that say?
Yeah.
We need to create it.
Yeah, exactly.
So while I do enjoy my time with them, there's always a part of me that was like, why are we the only ones here? Why are we Black folks not getting into these rooms that cost more than $20?
Yeah.
Because the room ain't cheap, but the room ain't...
These rooms is not cheap, baby.
That room ain't cheap, but it's not cheap.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying.
Right. The quality is there because of your investment. The quality is
there because of the investment. And since we've been in that group for 10 years, our kids have grown up together. Rich friends.
Listen, that's that part.
Rich friends.
That part.
They talk on the phone. They know when we're going to get together again.
And the network that they're going to have, like, if there is one thing that I just feel like I just, like, played myself on, it was not building that network in college when there was no pressure, when you didn't have to show up as somebody to be a part of the conversation. Like, that is something, if I can do that for my kids, like, just a built-in network, that's worth way more than money.
It did not exist when we grew up. And when we get together, it's always part of the conversation that our kids don't know what American normal is, because we're always taking them places where they think that that's regular. So why don't we just make it regular?
Yes, because it can be. Because, again, it starts with your mindset. And then these conversations and these type of resources, like really investing first with yourself and then teaching your kid, bringing them, in and being a part of the conversation.
Yes. My kids don't know what American regular is. The last day of school, my son looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm so happy it's last day of school. Are you taking off for the summer?"
I know that's right.
To him,
where am I going for the summer? Because you're going to have to work every day.
Right. To him, that wasn't an off the wall question. And so for a minute, I'm like, this
little boy.
Right. He thinks I'm taking off for the summer. But then I had to look at the flip side of that. I'm glad that we instilled that that's even
He knows that that's possible. My mama got it like that.
He knows that that's possible.
Yes. I love it. But
we have to create those communities.
Okay. If I could wink, I would wink at you because we're going to talk about that. Because it's so, and the masterminds that we're a part of, amazing masterminds, but again, we always focused on the money part of it, which is great. But the family
element,
like the family is what is so important. Because what are we doing this for if we're not passing it on to the next generation and they got to start from scratch?
Right.
They got to be a part of the conversation. So I love that. So for people out there watching, I got a whole lot of single ladies watching Coach Kelly. And I'm talking about single as hell, okay? Single to the point where they like starting to lose hope. I'm like joking about it, but I have been there, okay? Seriously, not long ago, where you just start to feel like, I'm just going to focus on this business because I can control this thing. Right. I can do this. So for somebody who feels like they can't have it all, they just got to work on making the money because getting the honey is just not possible. Give them a word of encouragement or some advice.
Ooh, I don't know that can be summed up in a sentence.
You could make a couple sentences.
I don't know if that can be summed up. Because I think a lot of, let me say this, I'm 49 years old, so y'all may or may not agree with what I'm about to say, but I think that a lot of the women these days, they're looking for the perfect dude. And they have this list of all the perfect things that he has to be, but they're not looking at themselves. Right, talk about it. It gets real spicy.
Are you the list?
Are you the list? Are you walking around with a bunch of masculine energy?
Whew. I'm so glad I got a husband, y'all, because when people used to say that, I would be like,
you would get mad.
For me. Yes.
But it's like, how much are you really leaning into being the person that the guy that you say you want to find would find
attractive?
Attractive. Because if you're walking around all the time talking about, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I got it going on, I make all this money. A man does not want a woman who feels like she does not need him.
Yep.
Now put that in whatever journal you want to put it in. Write that in your diary tonight and holler at me later. I got 25 years in this game, and there was a time where I wasn't always as feminine,
soft and sweet.
I used to be real slick. She rears up her head sometimes.
But there is hope because you evolved. So
I evolved.
You don't have to have it all together, but you got to be willing to work on it.
You have to be willing to work on it. You have to be willing to look in the mirror. You have to know you don't have it all figured out, because you can't tell somebody something that knows everything already.
You can't.
Right?
So Let's be honest, y'all. Let's be honest. That's perfect advice, though. Make the list and then become the list. That's how you attract the list.
Yes.
Law of attraction. Get into it. Okay, so I was going to ask you about your advice on the recession, but instead of doing that, I know that you have this group coaching blueprint challenge coming up. Mm-hmm. So for all the people out there who are in the coach, is it only for existing coaches? Tell us about the challenge, and we're going to put the link down below.
It used to only be for existing coaches. But with the pandemic, there are so many people that need coaches, life coaches, spiritual coaches, fitness coaches, all kinds of coaches, that I began to open it up to beginners. A beginner can absolutely come and learn how to become a coach, learn how to tap into that coach energy, learn how to facilitate conversations. So they can be brand new.
So group blueprint.
Group coaching.
Look, go on and say it yourself.
Group coaching blueprint challenge.com.
Yes, and there it is for you. If y'all are like me and y'all was going to
Group coaching blueprint challenge.com.
So it's down in the description. I'm a YouTuber now. I got to really get used to saying this stuff. It is, check it out in the description below. That's how they say it. That's what they be saying. Check it out in the description below. It will be there for you to sign up. But y'all, if you can't tell that she ain't new to this, she true to this, like, you got to get in where you fit in, because Coach Kelly is the truth. So you know where to find her online. Let them know where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on YouTube at Coach Kelly J On Demand. You can find me on Instagram at Coach Kelly J, and you can go over to my website at CoachKellyJ.com.
Listen, y'all, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and you got to share this episode with a friend, okay? We covered so much. This was juicy. I enjoyed having you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Peace. Girl, hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. This channel is all about encouraging you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when the next video drops. And comment below and let me know what you want to see on the next video. Peace out.